You're not broke. You're just quietly bleeding money in stupid ways. Stick with me, because some of these will hit way too close to home. And if you like this kind of reality check, join our Telegram, link below. More tips, more absurd truths, and fewer excuses. 1. The "it's only $5" trap. You know that feeling when you grab a coffee, a snack, maybe a random app subscription, and tell yourself, relax, it's just $5? Yeah, that's not $5. That's a financial leak with commitment issues. Here's the problem. Your brain treats small purchases like they don't exist. It's basically the same logic people use when they eat half a cake and say, "It doesn't count, I didn't finish it." Except your bank account absolutely counts everything. $5 here, $10 there, a quick delivery fee. Suddenly you're spending $300 a month on things you don't even remember buying. That's not spending. That's financial sleepwalking. And the worst part? These purchases feel harmless. They don't trigger guilt. They don't feel like real money decisions, which is exactly why they quietly wreck you over time. It's like having a tiny hole in your wallet that whispers, "Don't worry, it's just coins." Meanwhile, your savings are disappearing like socks in a dryer. You're not broke because of big mistakes. You're broke because of tiny habits with VIP access to your money. 2. Paying for convenience. Like you're a CEO, but you're not. Somewhere along the way, we all decided we're too important to do basic things. Food delivery instead of cooking, ride instead of walking, subscriptions instead of ownership. And suddenly, your lifestyle looks like you're running a Fortune 500 company. Except your bank account is more garage startup with no funding. Convenience is addictive. It feels like you're buying time, but most of the time, you're just buying laziness at premium pricing. Think about it. You pay extra for delivery, tip, service fee, small order fee, and emotional damage, just to avoid 20 minutes of effort. That $12 meal? It's now $28 and a bad financial decision, and you justify it. I deserve this. Sure. But your future self deserves rent money too. Convenience isn't evil, but when it becomes your default setting, it slowly turns you into someone who pays more to do less, and somehow still feels tired. At that point, you're not saving time. You're renting your own life at interest. 3. Subscriptions. You forgot exist, but they didn't forget you. Subscriptions are the gym memberships of your bank account. They stay committed even when you don't. You sign up for a free trial. You feel smart. I'll cancel before it renews. You won't, because life happens. You forget. And suddenly you're paying monthly for something you used once. In 2022, streaming services, apps, premium features, cloud storage, that one meditation app you opened twice and immediately got stressed about. Each one feels small. $7 here, $12 there. No big deal, right? Wrong. Stack them together and you've built a quiet financial parasite that feeds every month without asking permission. And here's the genius part. Companies designed it this way. They don't want you to cancel. They want you to forget. Because forgotten money is the easiest money. It's like having roommates who never speak to you, never help with anything, but somehow still take your cash every month. And you let them. You're not paying for services anymore. You're paying for past versions of yourself who had good intentions. If this feels uncomfortably accurate, good. That's where change starts. And yeah, it only gets worse from here. 4. I'll start saving next month syndrome. This one is sneaky because it sounds responsible. You're not saying never, you're saying later. And somehow, later becomes your longest financial relationship. You tell yourself, this month is weird. Next month I'll be better. Next month arrives, and suddenly there's a birthday, a sale, well, I already spent a lot, so whatever. Saving becomes that thing you intend to do, like going to the gym or texting back that one friend from 2018. Here's the brutal truth. If you don't save when things are normal, you definitely won't save when things get messy. And life is always a little messy. People think saving requires a perfect month. No expenses, no surprises, no life happening. That month doesn't exist. It's like waiting for a Monday when you feel motivated, rested, and emotionally stable. Good luck. So instead of building a habit, you build excuses. And your money just sits there, waiting for you to finally get serious. But money doesn't wait forever. It slowly drifts into random purchases, emergencies, and things you barely remember buying. At some point, "I'll start next month" quietly turns into "I wish I started years ago." 5. Buying cheap and paying twice. You ever buy something cheap and feel like a genius? This is basically the same thing, just cheaper. Yeah, until it breaks in 2 weeks and now you're buying it again. But this time slightly more annoyed and slightly more broke. Cheap stuff feels like saving money, but most of the time it's just delayed spending with extra frustration included for free. Shoes that fall apart, gadgets that barely work, furniture that looks good online but arrives with the structural integrity of wet cardboard. And the worst part? You knew. Deep down, you knew it was sketchy. But the price tag whispered, "Don't overthink it." So now instead of buying one solid thing once, you're stuck in a loop. Buying, replacing, regretting, repeating. It's like trying to fix a leaking roof with duct tape. Sure, it works for about 5 minutes. Then it rains again. Being cheap and being smart are not the same thing. Smart spending saves money. Cheap spending just spreads the pain over time. And somehow, the budget option ends up being the most expensive one. 6. Lifestyle inflation, the silent upgrade. You didn't notice you get a raise. Finally. Feels good. You worked for it. And then, nothing changes. Except everything. You don't decide to spend more. It just happens. You upgrade your phone, eat out more. Maybe better clothes, nicer stuff, a few "you earned this" moments sprinkled in like seasoning. And suddenly, your higher income doesn't make you richer. It just makes your lifestyle more expensive. That's lifestyle inflation. The moment your expenses grow at the exact same speed as your income, like they signed a contract behind your back. It's subtle. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today I will sabotage my financial future." It's more like, I can afford it now. And yeah, technically you can. But every upgrade becomes your new normal. You don't feel richer, you just feel maintained. It's like leveling up in a video game, but all the enemies level up with you. Congratulations, you're stronger, but still struggling. If your income grows but your savings don't, you didn't get richer. You just got better at spending. 7. Emotional spending, retail therapy. That needs therapy? Bad day? Buy something. Good day? Celebrate? Buy something. Bored? You guessed it. Buy something. Somewhere along the way, spending money became a personality trait. Emotional spending feels good in the moment. It gives you control, a quick dopamine hit, a sense that you're fixing something. But here's the catch. You're not solving the problem. You're just distracting yourself with a receipt. That package arriving at your door? It's not happiness. It's just delayed regret with better packaging. And the worst part is how logical it feels. I deserve this. I've been working hard. This will make me feel better. Yeah, for about 10 minutes. After that, it's just another thing you didn't need, sitting in your house like a souvenir from a bad decision. Emotional spending is like putting a Band-Aid on a financial wound, while quietly making it worse underneath. Your feelings pass. The charge on your card doesn't. 8. Ignoring small fees. Like they're not real, money fees are the ninjas of your finances. Silent, invisible, deadly. Bank fees, late fees, subscription renewals, ATM charges, processing fees, service fees, convenience fees, which, ironically, are never convenient. Each one is small enough to ignore. A few dollars here, a couple there. Nothing worth stressing about, right? That's exactly how they win, because no single fee hurts. But together, they form a quiet army draining your account while you're busy worrying about bigger expenses. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, except each cut charges you $3.99. And companies love this. They count on you not paying attention. They design systems around you not noticing. You don't fight it because it doesn't feel urgent. But over time, you're paying hundreds, sometimes thousands, just for not looking closely. Money doesn't disappear in dramatic ways. It disappears in small, boring, easy-to-ignore details. And those details? They add up faster than you think. 9. Trying to look rich instead of actually being rich. This one hurts a little, but let's be honest. A lot of people don't spend money to live better. They spend money to look like they live better. Nice car you can barely afford. Clothes with logos big enough to introduce themselves. Phone upgrades every year like it's a competitive sport. And for what? So someone you don't even like can think you're doing well? It's basically financial cosplay. You're dressing up as a wealthy person while your bank account is backstage crying. The craziest part? Truly wealthy people often look boring. Simple clothes, practical choices, no need to prove anything. Meanwhile, people who are struggling financially are out here trying to win an invisible competition no one officially signed up for. You're not investing, you're performing. And performance is expensive because once you start, you have to keep it up. You can't suddenly downgrade without feeling like you lost, so you keep spending to maintain an image that doesn't pay your bills. At some point, you realize something uncomfortable. You're not building wealth, you're renting attention, and attention has terrible resale value. 10. Not knowing where your money actually goes. Ask someone, where does your money go every month? And watch them freeze like you just asked for their Netflix password. Most people feel like they know. I mean, bills, food, stuff. That's not knowing, that's guessing. Money loves vagueness, because when you don't track it, it quietly disappears into random categories like, I don't even remember buying this. You check your account and think, wait, how am I this low already? Nothing dramatic happened, no big purchase, just 100 tiny decisions you didn't notice. It's like eating snacks all day and being confused why you're full. You didn't eat a meal, but you definitely consumed something. Tracking your money sounds boring. Nobody wakes up excited to open a budgeting app. But here's the thing, what you don't track, you can't control. Right now, your money might be running your life, and you don't even have a map. And the longer you avoid looking, the more expensive that ignorance becomes. 11. Credit card. I'll pay it later. Mentality. Credit cards are not the problem. The mindset is, I'll just put it on the card. Famous last words of every future regret. Because in that moment, it doesn't feel like spending. It feels like postponing responsibility. You're basically borrowing from your future self, the one who's already dealing with bills, stress, and now, your past decisions. And your future self? He's not happy about it. Interest is where things get ugly. Suddenly, that $100 purchase becomes $130, $150, and somehow you're paying extra for something you don't even care about anymore. It's like ordering food, eating it, and then being charged again every month for the memory. And minimum payments? That's just the system politely saying, take your time ruining yourself. The danger isn't one big purchase, it's the habit of making spending feel painless. Because when spending doesn't hurt, you do it more. And when the bill finally comes, it hurts a lot. 12. Thinking sales save you money. Ah yes, the magical word, sale. Suddenly, your brain turns into a financial philosopher. I'm not spending $200, I'm saving $100. No, you're still spending $100 on something you probably didn't even need. Sales are great if you were already planning to buy the thing. But most of the time, it's just a trap dressed like an opportunity. You walk into a store for one item, walk out with 5, because they were a good deal. That's not saving money. That's getting professionally manipulated by red tags and fake urgency. Limited time offer. Yeah, somehow that same limited sale has been going on for 3 weeks. Retailers don't lose money on sales. They just make you feel like you're winning while you spend more. It's like going to a casino and saying, I only lost $50 instead of $100. I'm basically a genius. If you didn't need it before the discount, you don't magically need it after. You just got convinced faster. 13. Keeping up with people who are also broke. This is one of the most underrated traps. You look around, friends, coworkers, people on social media. Everyone seems to be doing fine. Nice stuff, trips, lifestyle. So you adjust your own spending to match. Here's the twist. Half of them are just as financially confused as you are. You're all quietly competing in a game where nobody is actually winning. It's like a group of people on a sinking boat arguing about who has the nicer chair. Nobody talks about debt. Nobody posts their bills. Nobody shares the stress behind the scenes. So you compare your real life to their highlight reel and start spending to keep up. And now you're making financial decisions based on other people's illusions. That's dangerous, because you're not just spending your money. You're spending to maintain a position in a fake ranking system. At some point, You have to ask yourself, are you trying to build a life or just match someone else's screenshot? 14. Avoiding financial knowledge. Because it feels complicated. Money feels complicated. Investments, taxes, budgeting. It sounds like a language nobody taught you. So, what do most people do? They avoid it. I'll figure it out later. I'm just not good with money stuff. And just like that, you hand control over your financial life to nobody. Here's the reality. Avoiding money doesn't make it simpler. It makes it more expensive. Because when you don't understand something, you either ignore it or make bad decisions around it. You overpay, you miss opportunities, you fall for bad advice, you stay stuck. It's like refusing to learn how to cook and then wondering why you spend so much on takeout. Nobody is born understanding money, but pretending it's too complicated is just a polite way of saying, I'll deal with the consequences later. And those consequences, they don't stay small. They grow quietly until one day you realize you didn't avoid the problem. You just delayed it until it got bigger. 15. Not having an emergency fund, aka life, will surprise you. Life has a sense of humor, and it's expensive. Car breaks down, phone dies, unexpected bill shows up like an uninvited guest who eats everything and leaves you with the check. If you don't have an emergency fund, every surprise becomes a crisis. And how do most people handle it? Credit cards, loans, borrowing, stress. Now your problem isn't just the emergency, it's the cost of the emergency plus interest. That's how one bad moment turns into months of financial recovery. An emergency fund isn't exciting. It doesn't feel productive. It just sits there, which is exactly why people ignore it, until the moment they desperately need it. And then suddenly, it's the most important thing in the world. Think of it like a financial seatbelt. You don't need it until you really, really do. And if you don't have one, life won't wait politely. It'll hit you with something unexpected and say, "I hope you were prepared." Most people aren't. 16. Thinking, I deserve this. Every time you spend this one sounds healthy. Self-care, rewarding yourself, living your life. But if every small inconvenience turns into, I deserve this, congratulations, you've created a very expensive coping mechanism. Bad day at work? You deserve a treat. Good day? You deserve a reward. Neutral day? Honestly, still deserve something. At that point, deserve just becomes your brain's favorite excuse to spend money without questioning it. And look, you do deserve nice things. That's not the issue. The issue is when deserve replaces logic. Because your brain doesn't calculate long-term consequences in that moment. It just wants a quick win, something to feel better now. So you keep rewarding yourself, but never actually moving forward. It's like giving yourself a trophy for showing up every single day, and then wondering why nothing improves. Real rewards should come from progress, not just existence. Otherwise, you're not treating yourself. You're training yourself to spend whenever life happens. And life happens a lot. 17. Buying things to feel productive, instead of actually being productive. You ever notice how easy it is to prepare to improve your life? Buy a planner, new apps, courses, tools, books you swear you'll read. Suddenly you feel like you're becoming a better version of yourself without actually doing anything yet. That's the trap. Spending money on self-improvement feels like progress. It gives you that illusion of control, like you're getting your life together. But buying a gym membership doesn't make you fit. Buying a budgeting app doesn't make you disciplined. Action does. And companies know this. They sell you the feeling of progress, not the result. So you end up with a shelf full of potential and a bank account that's slowly shrinking. It's like buying ingredients for a healthy meal and then ordering pizza anyway. You didn't waste money on bad stuff. You wasted it on good intentions that never turned into action. And those are even more expensive because they come with guilt included. 18. Ignoring inflation. Like it's not your problem, prices go up, slowly, quietly, almost politely. Coffee costs a little more. Groceries feel slightly heavier on your wallet. Subscriptions creep up by $1 here, $2 there. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to be annoying, not alarming. So you ignore it. But here's the catch. Your income doesn't always keep up at the same speed. So, without changing anything, you're effectively getting poorer every year. Same habits, same lifestyle, less purchasing power. It's like running on a treadmill that's slowly speeding up, and you don't notice until you're out of breath. People think inflation is some big economic concept that doesn't affect them directly. It does, every single day. If your money just sits there, doing nothing, it's quietly losing value. And if your spending habits don't adjust, you're paying more for the same life, which means you're working just as hard, but moving backward. And that's the part nobody notices until it's already happened. 19. Saying yes to every social expense dinner. Drinks, weekend trips, birthdays, events. None of these are bad. In fact, they're great. Until you start saying yes to all of them. Because saying no feels awkward. You don't want to seem cheap. You don't want to miss out. So you go and spend again and again. And suddenly your calendar is full and your wallet is empty. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people you're trying to impress aren't tracking your spending. They're too busy trying to keep up themselves. But you're paying for every yes with real money. It's like being part of a group where everyone agrees to slowly go broke together, politely. And nobody wants to be the first one to say, hey, maybe we don't need a $60 dinner every time we meet. So the cycle continues. Being social shouldn't cost you your financial stability. At some point, you have to choose. Do you want to be included in everything or in control of your life? Because doing both gets expensive fast. 20. Not negotiating anything because it feels awkward. You know what's interesting? Companies expect you to negotiate. You just don't. Internet bill, rent, salary, services. Most people accept the first price like it's written in stone by some financial god. It's not. But asking for a better deal feels uncomfortable. You don't want to seem difficult. You don't want rejection. So you overpay, quietly, for years. Meanwhile, someone else calls the same company, asks one question and gets a discount in 10 minutes. Same service, different mindset. It's not about being aggressive. It's about not assuming the first offer is the final one, because it rarely is. And those small differences, they add up over time. Paying $20 extra a month doesn't feel like much, until you realize that's $240 a year for doing absolutely nothing except staying silent. Awkward conversations last a few minutes. Overpaying lasts years. Choose your discomfort wisely. 21. Thinking small changes don't matter. This might be the biggest lie people tell themselves. It's just a small thing. It won't make a difference. That mindset is exactly why nothing changes. Because your financial life isn't built on one big decision. It's built on hundreds of small ones, repeated daily. Spending $5 doesn't matter. Skipping saving this month doesn't matter. Ignoring that fee doesn't matter. Individually, sure. But stacked together, that's your entire financial reality. It's like saying one unhealthy meal doesn't matter. True. But 1,000 of them. Now it's a lifestyle. People underestimate small improvements because they don't feel dramatic. But consistency beats intensity every time. Saving a little, spending smarter, paying attention. It's boring. It's slow. It's not impressive. But it works. And the opposite works too. Small bad habits, repeated long enough, will quietly destroy your progress. You don't become broke overnight. You become broke one small thing at a time. 22. Letting money sit idle. Like it's on vacation. You ever leave money in your account and feel responsible? Like, hey, at least I didn't spend it. Sure, that's step one. But if your money just sits there doing nothing, it's basically on vacation, while inflation is working overtime. Your money should be doing something, growing, earning, at least trying. But instead, it's just chilling in your checking account like it retired early without permission. Meanwhile, prices are going up, which means your saved money is quietly losing value every single year. So technically, you're not losing money, but you're definitely not winning either. It's like hiring an employee who shows up every day, does absolutely nothing, and still expects to stay on payroll. Now, imagine you had money working for you, even a little. Suddenly, time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. But most people never get there because doing nothing feels safe. And yeah, it is safe. Safe. And slowly expensive. Because money that doesn't move doesn't grow, and money that doesn't grow falls behind. 23. Chasing quick money instead of building real money. Everyone wants fast results, quick profit, easy wins, one trick to make money. And the internet is full of people promising exactly that. Just click here, try this, buy that course, follow this method. Sounds great. Until you realize you're just jumping from one idea to another without building anything solid. It's like trying to get in shape by switching workouts every 2 days. You're busy, you're sweating, but you're not progressing. Real money is boring. It's consistent. It takes time. But quick money? That's exciting. It feels like you're one step away from a breakthrough, so you chase it. And while you're chasing shortcuts, you're ignoring the slow, reliable path that actually works. The result? You spend time, energy, sometimes even money, and end up exactly where you started. Or worse, because now you're not just broke, you're also frustrated. Fast money is attractive because it promises less effort, but most of the time, it just delivers faster disappointment. 24. Not valuing your time, so you waste both time and money. Here's a weird contradiction. People will spend hours trying to save $5 and then casually waste $50 without thinking, driving across town for a tiny discount, comparing prices for 40 minutes, obsessing over small savings, but then ordering something expensive out of boredom 5 minutes later. That's not being smart. That's being inconsistent. Your time has value, whether you realize it or not. If you spend 2 hours to save a few dollars, you didn't win. You just traded your time for less than it's worth. And if you don't respect your time, your money usually follows the same pattern. Because both are connected. People who value their time tend to make better decisions, more intentional ones. People who don't, they drift. They waste time, then spend money to compensate for wasted time. It's a loop. And breaking that loop starts with one simple idea. Your time is not free. So if you're going to spend it, make sure it actually pays off. 25. Avoiding planning. Because it feels restrictive. A lot of people hear budget and immediately think, yeah, that sounds like a miserable life. No fun, no freedom, just spreadsheets and sadness. So they avoid it completely. But here's the twist. Not planning your money doesn't give you freedom. It gives you chaos. Because now every decision is reactive. Can I afford this? I think so. Let's hope for the best. That's not freedom. That's gambling with your own life. Planning doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. It just means you decide in advance where it goes, instead of wondering where it went. It's like going on a road trip with no map. Sure, it feels spontaneous at first, until you realize you're lost, low on gas, and somehow ended up somewhere you didn't want to be. A simple plan doesn't limit you. It protects you from your own worst impulses. And trust me, those impulses are expensive. 26. Thinking I'll figure it out later. About big decisions. Some decisions are small. Others quietly shape your entire financial future. Where you live, what you buy, what you commit to long-term. And yet, people treat these decisions like they're ordering coffee. I'll figure it out later. That mindset works until later becomes years of consequences. Because big decisions come with long-term costs, monthly payments, maintenance, commitments you can't easily escape. And once you're in, it's not easy to undo. So now you're stuck managing something you didn't fully think through. It's like signing up for a subscription that lasts 5 years instead of 1 month. Except this time, it's your lifestyle. Thinking ahead isn't overthinking. It's preventing future problems from becoming permanent ones. Because I'll deal with it later usually turns into I'm dealing with it now. And I wish I wasn't. 27. Believing you have plenty of time. This is the most dangerous one because it feels true. I'm still young. I'll get serious later. There's time. And yeah, there is. Until suddenly there isn't as much as you thought. Time is the one thing you can't earn back. And when it comes to money, time is everything. The earlier you start making better decisions, the easier everything becomes. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Because now you're not just building, you're catching up. And catching up is exhausting. It requires more effort, more discipline, more sacrifice, all because you thought you had time to delay. This isn't about panic. It's about awareness. Because the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to not wake up one day thinking, I knew all of this. I just didn't act on it. And that realization? That's expensive in ways money can't fix. So, which one is quietly draining you right now? Be honest.